Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin, and Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
Championship so close you can taste it. Oliver Askew has won the Freedom 100. Side by side. And your new champion, Christian Rasmussen.
Welcome back, race fans, to Road to Indy TV Live. I'm your host, Parker Thompson, here with Series Development Director Rob Howden, and we are getting ready for Race 1 of Indy Lights coming up. Rob, Race 1 at Road America for Indy Lights, push to pass. Could you want more?
Yeah, let's do this, right? The USF 2000 was a great race. Indy Pro, some great battles as well. But now the big dogs are coming out to play, and this should be a lot of fun, I think. These cars, we didn't have them here last year, so we're back here at Road America with Indy Lights for the first time since 2019.
So I'm learning lots. I haven't driven Indy Lights. I was speaking with the drivers.
Right.
I was a little confused at qualifying. So Indy Lights, they get 4 sets of tires this weekend, and I'm hearing from everybody that they're saving their tires.
I got the same.
Which was kind of interesting. We saw some guys just go out in qualifying, only do 3 laps, 1 set. 3 laps, that was it. Kyle Kirkwood yesterday. Very strange. We don't see that at a lot of the tracks. But basically what I'm hearing from all the teams and drivers is the DEG is so high it's not even worth it to start up the front. They just want to have the tires for the race. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, and I think we're probably going to see guys with fresh tires, and some teams even holding on to 2 fresh sets. Obviously, the qualifying for race 2 we just had earlier today, drivers on that second set of tires, which is 2 laps, right? So essentially, not even one heat cycle. They'll be good for a race as well. But I think we're going to see a lot of guys on fresh tires out there. You're right, tire deg's going to be big.
So you take tire deg out of it, and then you've got push to pass. So these guys, if the draft wasn't enough, which the wind has kind of died down, I'm sure everybody on the broadcast can hear it's a little more clear up here at Road America. But at the same time, Indy Lights cars, they draft well, and then if they don't draft well, we've got push to pass, which is going to be really interesting. You know, we had that chat at Detroit. You press that button for 15 seconds, and sometimes you end up in a corner not being able to use the push-to-pass.
That's it, yeah.
Road America does not have that problem.
No.
You could probably push the button, I'm going to say at least 3 places, if not 4, and not have that extra 50 horsepower when you get into the turn.
It's going to be huge, right? All the way down the front straightaway from 3 down to 5, and then all the way down kettle bottoms to the Canada corner. You're going to have that extra 50 horsepower. I hope we're going to see some major overtaking.
Well, and it's one of the reasons why Road America is so exciting. I was watching some onboard actually from Santi Arrutia a couple years ago where he went from, I think he was 8th or 9th. He was in 2nd by the first lap.
You can pass here for sure.
Which is really cool. And obviously, Indy Lights cars, they're making more downforce, which means that through the carousel and through other places, it's ridiculous the speeds they're carrying. I mean, through turn 1, they are literally carrying 150 to 160 miles per hour.
That's unbelievable. I don't know if you watched any of the coverage we've had so far this weekend. We were on board with Toby Sowery as well. You could see him just absolutely sawing at the wheel on cold tires coming through the carousel, man. That was pretty sketchy.
It is pretty sketchy. So to get into the racing, I think we've got to mention Daniel Frost.
Yeah.
Not only does he get pole for race 1, but he goes out and grabs pole for race 2. Kind of funny, because I talked to Kyle Kirkwood and a couple of the guys at Andretti, and they're going, hey, he did 2 sets of tires in qualifying 1, so, you know, it was kind of a gimme for him. And I'm going, hey, number 1, he's fast here at Road America.
Yeah.
Number 2, Matt Sanderson. I worked with him last year at D-Force. He was the sister car engineer.
Okay.
He's brand new at Andretti. They're doing an awesome job. It's pretty cool to see a team like that get their first pole. Momentum, we talked about this morning. He goes out and gets pole when everybody had sets of tires.
I say this too, though. Again, I keep harping on this, though. Road Americas is midway through the season where rookie drivers in any series are getting comfortable with the car. They're getting comfortable with their team. This is that race where rookies can kind of jump into the spotlight. And it's hard to say that Daniel Frost wasn't going to be a guy that was good here. He won here last year. He made his debut in the Road to Indy here a couple of years ago in USF 2000. But he won here last year from last on the grid in Indy Pro 2000. He knows how to pass here. He just likes this racetrack.
He does like this racetrack. And we will go back. The reason he started last is because he was on pole, and there was a little weight issue, but it wasn't like he had no pace and started last. He was quick around here. So it's amazing, that comfortability. It's funny how a driver likes a track too, right?
Yeah.
Barber was one of my tracks that I just liked. It doesn't matter what I drove there.
But I asked him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even, I like it, but I don't know why. He said, maybe the carousel. I like the carousel. Huh. He wasn't able to say there's this, and this. It was just, I think, an overall feel that he likes. It comes in with a lot of confidence.
Well, maybe that's pretty humble, too. I generally like the places I'm fast at. So
so
if he doesn't like this place and he's really fast at it, good for him.
And all in all, Andretti Autosport very strong. You know, Devlin DeFrancesco quick as well. I think he's going to start second on the outside of the front row today. Kirkwood's been good as well. And even Robert McGinnis has been strong as well. He struggled a little bit throughout the season, but he was really good in practice and qualifying as well.
Well, I think we have to talk about, these are all Andretti drivers. The Andretti juggernaut coming back to bite me.
They look good.
I mean, geez, at Barber, I was harping on him. There's plenty of places where I'm like, oh, it looks like the wheels are falling off the wagon. Well, the wheels are bolted on pretty tight now. We're
not done yet, though, with Linus Lundqvist and David Malukas. HMD Motorsports, obviously, those are the two primary runners there. Benjamin Pedersen and Nikita Lastushkin, the other two at HMD Motorsports with Global Racing Group. I think Malukas is going to be strong here. He qualified second, I believe, for race 2. That'll happen tomorrow. So an indication, again, if they made some adjustments, he could be in the hunt here as well. I think the curveball for me, actually, is Linus. The reason I say Linus, you know, he went to tracks like Indianapolis where he had no time on them. Yeah, I qualified on pole, dominated with a race win. Then he comes to a track where he's had not only experience in other series, but he's also had a full test day where HMD came here with Andretti. Yeah, that's true. Everybody had their test day. He got warmed up. Kind of strange, you know, that mid-season lull. You see how these momentum swings come, right? They come and they go, and unfortunately, if you're on the receiving end of a good momentum swing, it's amazing. Yeah. And if you're on the wrong end of it, it usually happens around Road America where you see somebody downtrend. And we've seen it happen here, right? We had Aaron Telitz on. We had Aaron Telitz on the broadcast as well, and that back in 2016, the battle in the what was then the Pro Mazda category, Indy Pro 2000. He was battling with Pato. Pato won like the first 6 of the first 7 races of the year. Then we came here to his track. Aaron Telitz swept the weekend and went on to win the championship. This can be a track and an event, a time in the schedule where things can swing. Well, and it's going to be really interesting. Kyle Kirkwood obviously tied with the most wins on the road to Indy, 24. Yeah. Thankfully, I prevented a few of those in my time, but it's good to see him. Congratulations for that. It's going to be really interesting to see, you know, his USF 2000 year, it was kind of just a domination. His Indy Pro year took a long time for him to kind of struggled early. Yeah. Yeah. And this year's been kind of the same thing. You know, don't count him out, but at the same time, you know, even days like yesterday and days like today, I thought he'd go out and get the pole. If his teammates are getting pole, he's in the same car, he's looking at their data, I would think he'd have just as good a shot to beat them. Agreed. And has the momentum from winning at Detroit.
And he's kind of just, hanging back, the Mr. Surfer from Jupiter, Florida. He's not worrying too much.
All right.
It's going to be really interesting to see how he takes on Road America from here on out.
Here's a little tidbit for you coming from Diane Swintel. Do you really want to win this race? Because I don't think in the modern era of us Road to Indy and the Lights being with us, a race winner from Road America has never won the championship.
Has never won the
championship.
A race winner.
Anybody if you've won here, you didn't win the championship.
Well, you know what's hilarious?
Mateus Laced.
You know what's hilarious?
Yeah.
This is one of the only tracks that I didn't win on the Road to Indy.
Yeah, there you go.
I've pulled. I've done plenty of stuff here, and fortunately never.
We got to get you back in Indy Lights next year, dude.
I know.
We got to get Parker back in the seats. Get him out of this role.
Exciting stuff coming up. Any other notables you see in the Indy Lights category?
One of the guys I was hoping to see step up here would have been Alex Peroni. I think this track kind of leans more to some of the success he's had over in Europe as well. Carlin, of course, has had a success here in the past, as I said, with Mateus Laced. They've won here at this racetrack before. I'd like to see them step up a little bit, and maybe Alex will be able to do it by the end of the weekend. But even coming off the better pace he had at Detroit, I kind of thought he'd be in the hunt.
Well, the only tidbit on that is I do know they were on the same tire strategy as Kirkwood. When I talked with Kyle, he said that the only other car that he said was smart enough to save his tires was Alex. Now, Kirkwood's still starting on the second row.
But who cares where you start here? This isn't like a Barber or a St. Pete or a Detroit where you really want to start up front. How many we saw? The first 6 winners on the season all come from the pole. It wasn't until Kyle was able to get the win at Detroit the second until we had a guy that didn't start on the pole position. This is the track where you don't need to be pole on because there's so many places to overtake.
Well, and especially with the push to pass,
exactly,
it just creates another element to get around drivers when you're stuck. Do you know I don't know the statistics off my head. Do you know how many poles have been converted to wins in Indy Lights here?
I have no idea.
No, you're Mr. Facts.
No. That would be a Steve Wittig from Trackside Online or a Diane Swintel. I don't have that one.
Rob's too humble.
I think it's going to be a great race. I think you said it. I love the add the tire dag in there. If the tires start going off a 20-lap race, no one's done a 20-lap stint throughout the weekend. Even on the open test day on Thursday, nobody tried to do a long stint. They only had 2 sets of tires and didn't want to try that. So I think tire dag compared or connected and combined with the long straightaways that are really going to allow push to pass to happen, we're going to see a lot of overtaking.
Well, we can't wait for it. Coming up before we get live with Indy Lights Race 1, we've got a symmetric segment to watch how Indy Lights drivers and all Road to Indy competitors are learning these tracks on the Road to Indy. Race car drivers are always looking for a leg up. And with modern day racing at an all-time high for cost, the best way to do that is through sim racing. I'm here with Greg DeGeorgis, owner of Symmetric Labs, and he's going to take us behind the scenes on what it's like to run a high-performance simulation. Greg, what have we got here? How did you get into sim racing, and what are you offering for the Road to Indy athletes?
Yeah, so we really offer drivers a head start on the racing weekend to take the first bite off of their learning curve to get prepped on at races and everything. My background is as a data engineer. I am not a driver or a driver coach, but I worked with a lot of championship-winning teams, drivers, coaches, and efforts to get drivers prepared. So I know what it takes to win.
Take me through the process of becoming a Symmetric Labs customer.
It's really simple. We offer unlimited packages to drivers where they come in for a flat fee and they drive as much as they want for the entire race weekend. So there's no counting a clock or anything like that. To get the most out of it or anything. We'll take multiple appointments throughout the race week, and we usually front load on load in and practice day, and then we'll usually do morning warm-ups before qualifying into a race day to get drivers fully ready to go. So at 8 o'clock in the morning before an early qualifying or something like that, they're ready to turn really fast laps.
What do you view as the biggest jump these drivers are getting when they get on the sim? For me, when I get on the sim, it's usually for track learning, but I'm sure they're learning a lot more than just how to go around the track. What are they learning on the race weekends, and what are you teaching them?
Yeah, so like you said, a lot of what people assume with simulators is that all they can learn is new tracks. That's true. It's definitely a big part of it. But we can also teach drivers to get really comfortable. I have excellent models of all 3 other Road to Indy cars that I developed in-house with all the logger, tire, manufacturer data, and a lot of feedback from real drivers so they feel as real as possible. So with really, really good car and track models, we can actually work on even focus conditioning with these drivers where they know the car, they know the track, and we're going to let them run in the sim for an hour with the heat on, all over their gear. I'm going to intentionally try to distract them, force them into mistakes, and then really try to work on their entire race stint or their stint performance.
Let's get to the real meat and potatoes though, which is the sim. This thing is gorgeous. Now, what simulator are you using?
So this is the CXE Simulations Motion Pro 2. It's about $100,000 sim. It's really the best sim that money can buy that also fits in an 8-foot wide trailer.
Wow. Okay. Well, I can't wait to get on it. It looks unbelievable.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin, and Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
As your uncle, I want you to know that on the road of life, there will be rough spots, and they will chew up your tires. I recently took a road trip to Greensville to attend a chili cook-off. Rough roads all the way down. I drove there on these Cooper Discoverer and Duramax tires. You know, they're made with the durability of off-road tires, but for on-road driving. Without them, we might never know the winning bean-to-meat ratio of a good chili. And those are the things in life, my friend, worth driving towards. So go with the Coopers. Cooper! I'm hungry now.
One of the biggest question marks over racing drivers is, are they athletes? And I am here today to debunk that. I am here with Jim Leo of Pit Fit Training in Indianapolis. Jim, very happy to have you on the show. Not only that, let's talk about what you're doing with Pit Fit and how you got started in driver fitness.
Started around 20 years ago working for Roger Penske in a corporate wellness program, and I, as a young physiologist, wanted to work with his IndyCar team. He said go for it, and it began my foray into this field that is basically I've never looked back.
Wow. So starting with Roger, you're starting at the top. I have to say, as a racing driver myself, that I've played many other sports, and racing ranks up there with the absolute toughest to compete in. The physical on the body, take me through what a driver goes through and take me through how you train for that.
IndyCar, the road to Indy, is the most physical because you have high levels of grip, you don't have power steering, and the races can be as long as 2+ hours, in the case of the 500, 3 hours. So all of these components thrown in together make for a very physical event. The heart rates are hovering in the 160s, 170s. Lightning fast reactions are needed to avoid other cars. The muscles needed on the neck and the shoulders and the core to withstand the load of the G-forces and the turning of the car are very, very high. And there's really no other series that can encapsulate what you go through with IndyCar.
For sure, I couldn't agree that more. I mean, I've been on the road to Indy for a while, and those cars are pretty physical, so I can only imagine what the drivers are facing in IndyCar. Take me through the process of a driver like myself on the road to Indy coming into the gym. Obviously, they get a driver evaluation, so that's kind of your day to figure out where your baseline is. And then what is the turnkey process that they'll experience here at PitFit?
Once we take them through the evaluation, that gives us an idea of their weaknesses and their strengths. We look at what series they're in. We can determine whether this driver needs to get stronger, the reactions aren't quite where they need to be. We can compare all that data. We've had so many drivers run through the evaluation. We can show them that this is what drivers in your category are doing. This is what the drivers in the category above you are doing. And our objective has always been, we're not training you for the series you're in, we're training you for the next level. Let's say you're running in an Indy Lights car and you get an IndyCar test. We prepare you for the IndyCar test while you're driving Indy Lights. The last thing you want to do is get that call up at the last second and go out for a test and then not be able to complete the test at your peak level because your physical fitness wasn't there. So we prepare every driver for the next level up, and so therefore we've had a lot of drivers who move up the ladder. But when they first come in, they all go through the evaluation. We set them up on their programs, and based on our experience with drivers, then we'll modify that program to fit their needs. And that's, it sounds very simplistic, and then from our standpoint, it is very simple. From the outside looking in, though, and once you get on the inside and see what goes into the training and the programming, it's very elaborate the way it's set up.
Well, perfect. Without further ado, let's get me trained up for IndyCar.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin, and Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Available in personal foam cans for boats, RVs, and homes, Firebull and Enforcer are an official partner of the AMR IndyCar Safety Team. Firebull, quick, effective, and safe. Hey, who wants to win a $250 Firestone Complete Auto Care gift card or take home some Firestone gear? Stop by the Firestone Fan Experience located Holmatro is dedicated to providing innovative hydraulic equipment for rescue, industrial and special tactics, and applications worldwide. Holmatro has been manufacturing rescue tools in their Glen Burnie, Maryland facility for over 35 years. From the machining process to its laser-controlled detail of work, Holmatro delivers high-quality, innovative tools which consistently perform under the most adverse conditions. Proud to be a manufacturer in America and employing U.S. citizens, Holmatro is the official rescue tool of IndyCar. Jostens is proud to be the official supplier of championship rings and trophies to the NTT IndyCar Series and to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Jostens also produces great commemorative race products. For race fans, please visit us at jostens.com to see all of our commemorative racing products.
Greg, we're coming up here on another pre-race for our Indy Lights competitors, and certainly this qualifying session earlier today for Q2 for race 2 for tomorrow, but Q1 was certainly special as well.
It was. There was no question about it. Again, we saw that pattern repeating itself in Q2, where Daniel Frost was able to repeat and nab both poles. But it was a remarkable achievement. You consider the fact that Daniel has a second-place finish this year, hasn't been able to crack the win column, then to dominate qualifying here with those runs that he put in for Andretti Autosport, comes in here 7th in the points, and a spot in front of David Malukas, who comes in 2nd in the points, but has 3 poles this year. That tells you that Daniel Frost and that Andretti Autosport team were hooked up. And then Devlin DeFrancesco, who was a guest up here earlier, backed it up with a tremendous run to 3rd in qualifying. And I'll tell you, the fact we've seen this in every one of the RTI categories here this weekend, the pole sitter down low this time, just at the edge of the top 5. With more and time to get this one going, let's get down to Rob.
Thanks, guys. Much appreciated. And again, back at it here to cap off the day with one more Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires event. We saw tremendous racing in USF 2000. Of course, that great battle in Indy Pro 2000 as well. But now it's time for the drivers at the very top rung of the Road to Indy, just one step away from the NTT IndyCar Series. It's Indy Lights. We have 13 drivers set to go for a 20-lap race here this afternoon. All of these drivers vying for the championship and the scholarship worth $1.25 million, which will be used for an IndyCar program, 3 races, including the Indianapolis 500 in 2022. Tremendous drivers getting set to go around this very tough 4-mile circuit. The push to pass into play, of course, 50 extra horsepower. Let's have a look at the grid of the drivers getting set to go. 13 racers in total, as I say, on the grid. We'll start at the tail of the field, starting in the 13th position out of Louisiana. For Carlin Racing, the rookie Christian Bogle in the number 7. Row number 6 now on the outside out of Ontario, Canada. In the P. Sarah Racing entry, the number 11 is Antonio Saravalli, rookie driver starting in 12th. Alongside him, a veteran of the Road to Indy coming through USF 2000, Indy Pro, and now Indy Lights, a rookie driver out of Los Angeles, California, but born in Russia. That is Nikita Lastishkin for HMD Motorsports in the number 59. Moving into the top 10 now, row number 5 on the outside. Benjamin Pedersen in the number 24 for HMD Motorsports with Global Racing Group. The rookie starting in the 10th spot. Inside out of Australia in the Blundstone-sponsored Carlin entry, the rookie Alex Peroni in the number 5 for Carlin. Row number 4 now. On the outside from Mount Kisco, New York. Robert McGinnis for Andretti Autosport, a winner 2 years ago on the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, looking to go for a victory here today. McGinnis for Andretti in the number 27, starting 8th. Inside of that row, last year's Indy Pro 2000 champion. He's got the scholarship colors on the car from Payette, Idaho. For Juncos Racing, it's Stingray Robb in the number 2. Up now to row number 3, starting on the outside, out of England. A race winner as well in 2019, now running for Juncos Racing, starting 6th, the number 31, Toby Sowery. Inside of Sowery, driver with multiple wins already this year. Scored the FRA championship last year to get a scholarship to come run Indy Lights. He has been unbelievably impressive coming out of the gate. The point leader coming into the race weekend, Linus Lundqvist from Sweden for HMD Motorsports with Global Racing Group, the 26, starting in the 5th position. Row number 2, a couple of very impressive young drivers. Starting on the outside, both rookies, of course, here in Indy Lights. On the outside, coming off 2 wins, back-to-back Jackson, the Detroit Grand Prix. Kyle Kirkwood out of Jupiter, Florida in the Andretti Autosport number 28. Kirkwood starting in 4th. Inside of that row, last year's runner-up in the Indy Pro 2000 category, it's Devlin DeFrancesco for Andretti Steinbrenner Autosport in the number 17. DeFrancesco quick. He will start on the inside of row number 2. Going to the front row now, this will be impressive. And the guy on the outside with a couple of race wins already for HMD Motorsports, David Malukas in the number 79. Starting on the outside of the front row, Malukas has been strong. 2nd place in points, backed by just 1 marker coming into the weekend here. But the driver who's on the pole position here today, he actually won last year here at Road America in Indy Pro 2000, made his debut in the Road to Indy in USF 2000 here as well a number of years ago, but back-to-back pole positions, his first career Indy Lights poles. Daniel Frost out of Singapore in the number 68 for Andretti Autosport. Denjet, the sponsor, the 68 on the pole. It'll be Frost and Malukas on row 1. DeFrancesco, Kirkwood, row 2. Lundqvist and Sowery, row 3. Robb and McGinnis, row 4. Peroni and Pedersen, row 5. Lastishkin and Saravalli on row 6. And Bogle on row 7. 13 drivers getting set to go here in Indy Lights to fire things up as we go racing. Our third Road to Indy event of the day. USF 2000 and Indy Pro 2000 already getting their races in. We'll do it all over again tomorrow morning, but getting set to go now here to fire up the engines here. 450 horsepower behind these drivers, all in the Dallara IL-15 chassis. The new Halo type device has been installed on the cars for this year. We've jumped up the safety. The car's looking fantastic. Folks, down here on pit lane right now, time to get things underway. And to give us the command to start engines, the Cooper Tire Girls.
Road to Indy drivers, start your engines!
Engines have fired here trackside. Time to go racing, folks. And we'll go back. In progress, Nick Yeoman and the IndyCar Radio.
As we are set to go racing at Road America for 20 laps for round number 9 of the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires. Daniel Frost, David Malukas on the pole, and Devlin DeFrancesco, Kyle Kirkwood in row number 2. Linus Lundqvist starts in the 5th spot. Toby Sowery is 6th. And boy, Davey, looking forward to this one as this championship picture becomes a little bit more clear.
Yeah, I think, you know, we're almost, they'll be halfway through the season when this race, this weekend's over, and I think it's going to really kind of lay out of what these drivers have to do to go for championships and who's going to be where after this event. So I look forward to it as well, Nick. And I feel right now that these top 3 guys in the points, Malukas, Lundqvist, and Kirkwood, really have things under control. They have a pretty good lead. They're all really close. They're within 9 points of each other in the championship. And I think anybody else to win the championship has got to have a really good run going from here on.
Man, let's welcome in our pit reporters. I'll start with Rob Howden. Rob, I know you and I both hoping that all 3 of those drivers, and maybe even a couple more, keep this championship battle throughout the course of this season.
Yeah, Nick, I just think we're going to keep going back and forth. There's some tracks that are going to suit other drivers and teams. We've seen HMD be so good, but to be honest, Andretti Autosport seems to have the handle here right now. One little tidbit I'll bring in. This will be interesting. Kyle Kirkwood trying to do the old Oliver Askew run and Rinus VeeKay run, going one level every year. He won USF 2000. Won Indy Pro 2000, trying to win the championship here in Indy Lights. But, Nick, he has never been beaten here at Road America. 4 for 4 at Road to Indy action. We'll see if he makes it 5 for 5 when we're done this 20-lapper.
It's going to be fascinating. And joining Rob on pit lane is Joel Sebastianelli. Joel, again, some of our race winners this year, a little more buried throughout the field. Seems like we've got a potential for a possible upset today.
We could, and you know something, for Kyle Kirkwood's sake, maybe that's a good thing, because the Indy Lights driver that has won here at Road America has never gone on to win the championship, and that's actually kind of surprising. Rinus VeeKay has won here. Colton Herta has won here. Matthias Leist, who's turned laps in an Indy car, has won here. But the driver who has won the Indy Lights race at Road America has never gone on to win the championship. So if Kyle Kirkwood goes on to win here, may not bode well for his championship chase. So we will go and see what happens here between David Malukas, Kyle Kirkwood, and Linus Lundqvist. It is an outstanding championship battle. I would not read anything into that stat that I just told you. I think it'll be an outstanding race and an outstanding championship battle. Just one of those statistical oddities that you see throughout the years, with an outstanding field in this series in years past and this year as well, Nick.
It is a fantastic stat. There is no doubt about it. So maybe the key is, hey, score a lot of points, but don't win the race. Now, I think these drivers would love to be the first one to maybe upset that trend. Through the carousel for the final time, all 13 drivers getting some heat in those Cooper tires, as well as build up some engine heat. Davey, that run down to turn 1, it's maybe one of the fastest approaches these drivers, maybe only Indianapolis I can think of down the front straightaway in the opposite direction. I mean, it is a daring turn 1, and boy, we're just going to keep our fingers crossed all 13 make it through.
Whoops, yeah, there we are. So yeah, this is going to be one time by too, Nick, on start of this race, which is unique. We usually go 2 times by, but this track's so long, it's going to be one time by. But the exciting part about this race with Frost, this is first time for a long time to be in the front of the race. Now, you can count on Kirkwood. I know the stats aren't good to win this race, to win the championship, but I'll assure you that he's going to be trying to be leading this thing after the first lap.
Yep, it's going to be fascinating with a rookie pole sitter, Daniel Frost, leading them to the green flag. The field starts to stack up in the familiar Motorsports rows of two. It's David Malukas has already pulled to driver's left of Daniel Frost. Kyle Kirkwood will pull up right behind Malukas alongside his teammate Devlin DeFrancesco. Beautiful race cars. The red of Daniel Frost, the green on Malukas' car this week, the yellow of DeFrancesco, and that dark navy on Kyle Kirkwood's car. All 13 drivers. The formation is absolutely perfect. They make the very slow crawl up the hill, waiting to see the green flag when they crest that hill. Everyone stays in line, and the start is good. Green flag. Daniel Frost immediately takes that car right to the pit wall. He's going to try to protect the inside. Malukas moves over to the left. He's going to try to swing around the outside. Can he make a pass on the opening lap? They go wheel to wheel, and Malukas and Frost both go off the racetrack. DeFrancesco joins them, but it's P1 and P2 who crash in turn one. The big winner appears to be Toby Sowery and Juncos Racing. Where do they come from? Sowery's now your race leader. Stingray Robb runs in second as the disabled cars of Frost and Malukas sit at the exit of turn number one, but Michael, somehow it's Toby Sowery leading the field down to turn 5.
What a disaster for the front row, but here comes Toby Sowery. He'll make that right-hander of turn number 5. Linus Lundqvist at P2, Kyle Kirkwood P3. Then it's Stingray Robb, and on the inside of Stingray Robb, Alex Peroni trying to get that 4th position away from Stingray Robb, but Toby Sowery is your leader through turn number 7.
So now the trick for Toby Sowery becomes to make sure that he doesn't have a hiccup as things get loose well behind him. That was the car running in the 7th position. Sowery now works his way into the carousel. They are going to go side by side, put Kyle Kirkwood into the 2nd position as now he loses that spot just a little bit. So all of a sudden, things are getting interesting behind the leader, but the leader is Toby Sowery into turn number 11.
Boy, it seems like Toby Sowery's the only driver that has not had issues on this opening lap as he's opened up about a 6 or 7 car length lead on Linus Lundqvist. Lundqvist got challenged by Kirkwood through the carousel for that 2nd spot. Alex Peroni waits right there in the 4th spot, but it is Toby Sowery who leads them out of turn number 1. And Davey, what do you see?
Oh my gosh, their car, they're running into each other all over. McGinnis coming through Canada corner, just he tangled up. I mean, these guys are no patience whatsoever on this big track. There's been 3 incidents in the first lap, guys.
And it was, it was Robert McGinnis down there at Canada corner. So, boy, this has spread the field out big time on this opening lap. But, man, we talked about it. Toby Sowery, who's been so close all year long, just needed a break, and he might have just got it. But now he's got to try to charge and leave 2 of the fastest drivers in this sport, Linus Lundqvist and Kyle Kirkwood, who are going to give chase. Here on lap 2, Sowery into turn number 3. His advantage over Lundqvist is a couple car lengths. Stingray Robb and the number 24 machine of Benjamin Pedersen very nearly make contact, battling for 5th, but it is a 4-car train, Michael, heading to turn 5.
What did we expect in turn 1? Certainly not that, and Linus Lundqvist will pop to the outside of Toby Sowery, trying to go the long way around. He will not be able to make that pass. That will allow Kyle Kirkwood to tuck underneath the machine of Linus Lundqvist for that 3rd position. But as they make their way through turn number 6 and now turn number 7, Toby Sowery with about a 2-car length advantage over Linus Lundqvist, but here comes Kyle Kirkwood for 3rd.
All kinds of dust is kicked up behind Toby Sowery. That's the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and then 4th. Again, running in 2nd is Linus Lundqvist. Then it is Kyle Kirkwood, and right there is as well Alex Peroni. They start to now split just a little bit as they work their way through turn number 9. Toby Sowery looks very good through turn number 10. He's got Linus Lundqvist just behind.
Let's begin the opening lap carnage report and go to Rob Howden on pit lane.
Yeah, Nick, Devlin DeFrancesco coming into pit lane. They pulled the front wing, looked at the front wing, did not change it. And he's down and away. Daniel Frost is now coming to pit lane as well. Left front tire is down. They're going to work on the wing first. The actual wing is bent backwards and sideways and up underneath the tire. So that's what cut the tire, the left front Cooper. They've got the wing off right now. They're going to put the new one in. I'll do a quick walk around. I don't see any other damage around the car at this point here. But again, they will have to change that left front tire. They're going to work on that here right now. They've got the wing done. Crew going to work. Daniel Frost. The issue here, of course, turn number 1. Repairs continue.
And we've got a battle for the race lead as Linus Lundqvist has got the run on Toby Sowery. He used the draft and he makes the pass. Linus Lundqvist takes over the race lead here on lap number 3, getting around Sowery. Sowery gets back in line as Kyle Kirkwood tries to set him up. Kirkwood, though, has his hands full as Alex Peroni is all over the gearbox through turn number 3. Again, really tight racing at the front of this field. Lundqvist with about a 2-car length advantage, and then they are nose to tail. Kyle Kirkwood pops to the inside, Michael. He's side by side with Toby Sowery.
Through the Moraine sweep they come, and Kyle Kirkwood has the inside advantage for that second position. He will take it away from Toby Sowery. Now Alex Peroni wants that third position. So Toby Sowery, after he defended Kyle Kirkwood, would now see Alex Peroni try to take that third position away. So as quickly as he marched to the front, he's quickly fallen back to third. But now the driver on the move, it's Kyle Kirkwood. He's 3 car lengths behind Linus Lundqvist, our leader.
As they work their way into turn number 9, it is Lundqvist with Kirkwood just behind. Then it is Sowery and then Peroni. Again, to recap, at the outset of this race, carnage up front that shuffled through the leaders. Toby Sowery led for the first 2 circuits, but he has now given up 2 spots. He runs in third, and it's Alex Peroni just behind him who is trying to get that third position.
And Davey, Alex Peroni's got a nice charge here down that back straightaway, trying to look for third on Toby Sowery.
Yeah, great run by that Carlin driver. He's doing a good job. He's where he needs to be. He's been had shown speed this year, but he's hanging right with those guys. But the carnage that we've seen right off the start, very surprising. As we see Frost, you know, he went to the bottom to protect, but just when they started bunching up down there, got side by side, got wheel to wheel, and just didn't work out with Malukas and him tagged, and then DeFrancisco gets involved and shows them all. Man, just unfortunate on the first lap.
Davey, was that a glorified game of chicken into turn 1 there of like neither one of those guys are going to lift?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was, and I think Frost says, hey, I got the bottom, that's the preferred line, and you know, when Malukas went through there, I just felt that he wanted that lead too, but just didn't work out for either one. Patience. Never do that on the first lap. That they'll learn that from that point on.
Despite all that carnage, the top 5 separated by just 1.7 seconds out of turn number 3. It is Linus Lundqvist who leads them underneath the Sargento Bridge. Michael, we may have a battle for third, though.
Here that comes into the Moraine sweep, and it is that battle for third. It's Alex Peroni. He ran off the track in turn number 12. Now he'll dive back to the inside. So an outside-inside move. Alex Peroni will take over that third position over Toby Sowery. Lundqvist, Kirkwood, and now Alex Peroni, your top 3.
Now the question becomes, can Stingray Robb become the next to get around Toby Sowery? Because clearly Sowery, after that early lead, has seen that car go away just a little bit. But let's go back up to the front. It is the leader, Linus Lundqvist. He has himself a 5-car length advantage over Kyle Kirkwood, then another 5 back to Alex Peroni. Everybody now single file as they work their way through the carousel. No issues for anybody whatsoever as the leader, Linus Lundqvist, works his way into turn number 11.
Yep, and his advantage right now is 0.6 of a second over Kyle Kirkwood, 1.2 seconds over Alex Peroni. And moments ago, Rob Howden, that was about a picture-perfect pass as he can do as he set up Toby Sowery down there in turn 5. I know you're standing by in that Carlin Racing pit.
Yeah, Alex Peroni, a driver that we're going to see get better and better throughout this year. Of course, rookie in the program, coming over from the FIA Formula 3 Championship. In the opening qualifying session, Kyle Kirkwood, one of the only drivers to use just 1 set of tires. We're talking a lot, of course, about tire degradation and how they're going off midway through the race. Everybody trying to save fresh sets of tires. When they rolled off the grid, the first 4 drivers all had fresh rubber. Malukas, Frost, DeFrancisco, Kirkwood, all with fresh rubber. Everybody in the back using more than 1 set during qualifying, other than Alex Peroni. Like Kirkwood, he only used 1 set of tires in the opening qualifying session, so he rolled out on fresh tires as well. Toby Sowery not so lucky. He's got a lot of laps on those tires. That could be one of the reasons why Peroni's working his way back forward.
We may have a battle for the lead as Linus Lundqvist has about a 2-car length advantage over Kyle Kirkwood. Kirkwood was setting him up down the front straightaway. He's going to do it here on to turn number 5. Michael, Kyle Kirkwood pops to the outside.
Yes, he passed him on the outside and is already by and has checked out 2 car lengths. Kyle Kirkwood already to turn number 6, 3 car lengths over Linus Lundqvist. That allows Alex Peroni to close in on the rear wing of Linus Lundqvist. But Kyle Kirkwood now through turn number 7 and down the hurricane Jerry Downs has a 5-car length lead over Lundquist.
Boy, Kirkwood is really starting to extend a little bit into turn number 8, that blue and silver machine. Then it's Linus Lundquist, then blue and silver again. It's Alex Peroni running in third. Then Toby Sowery, who's about 8 car lengths behind that front 3. But the leader is Kirkwood, works his way through turn number 10, keeps that left side rubber off of the rumble strip. He's extended out now to a 10 car length advantage over Linus Lundquist.
Let's go back to pit lane and check in with Joel Sebastianelli.
So David Malukas is not fighting with anybody, right? After that incident on the opening lap, he's half a track away from the rest of the field, but just something I've noticed, he keeps clicking off 157s even each time by. That's more than a second faster than anybody else. If there's a yellow as everybody else dukes it out, he may be somebody to keep an eye on.
And Davey, I mean, that's big for David Malukas. He needs that yellow, but even if he doesn't get it, 16 laps to go, he's still going to catch some of these drivers like Bogle, Lashterskin, and possibly McGuinness here before this race.
Yeah, and as we can see, it's hard to cause a full course caution here to where we could bunch up again. We had 3 incidents, none of them it was just local cautions in those corners. But he may. I mean, we just talked. He was clicking off some great laps, but man, he's got such a deficit going right now. He really needs a full course yellow. Then we'll just see what he can do with that.
Yep, Malukas right now buried in that 11th position after that opening lap accident. Let's go back up to the front of the field. It's Kirkwood, your race leader, but Michael, the battle for second is a good one.
Yes, indeed it is. Linus Lundquist has it. Alex Peroni wants it. He'll pop to the outside of the Marine sweep. He will stay to that outside of Linus Lundquist and now do the over-under. Try to get traction on the inside is Alex Peroni. He's alongside the machine of Linus Lundquist. They'll make their way through turn number 6. And now turn number 7. Give Alex Peroni P2 as he gets by Linus Lundquist. Kyle Kirkwood, your leader.
Now Kirkwood kicks up a little dust as he goes his way into turn number 7 and sets up for turn number 8. He has an 8 car length advantage over Alex Peroni. Then it's Lundquist and Sowery. But the leader, Kirkwood, as he goes underneath the Speedville Bridge, is trying to extend out that lead as he works his way in that long sweeping right-hander that is the carousel. Back in, got just a little bit loose on him entering turn number 10, but Peroni's not able to take advantage. It's back to a 10 car length gap.
That was a great pass by Alex Peroni. And Dave, you know, when we clear this weekend, we will be at the halfway point of this season. And when you get to the summer months, it seems like no matter if it's IndyCar or Indy Lights, some of these guys get sick of running wheel to wheel with each other. And it looks like in this race, at least, those elbows getting a little wide.
They are getting a little wide. And one thing I've noticed on the points championship, when Kirkwood went by Lundquist, it tied them. They're exactly tied at 2:17. But then guess what happens? Peroni, he passes Lundquist, so Lundquist is now going to be in second. They're not a tie anymore. He's going to fall back. And I have to think this. I watched Lundquist pretty closely. The back of his car just does not have the grip that he really needs. The thing's sliding around a lot, even in the slow corners, but then in the carousel it's sliding around. So right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sowery potentially and Pedersen come and pass him as well. So he's 5 points back now. Kirkwood leads, 5 points back Lundquist. Malukas is 18 points back, so keep an eye on that championship as well.
Yeah, and of those drivers running third, fourth, and fifth, Pedersen looks like he may be the one that has the most pace right now. Michael, he's got a strong charge looking for fourth on Toby Sowery.
Yeah, Kyle Kirkwood now making his way through turn number 5, then Peroni, then Lundquist, and here comes Pedersen to the outside of Toby Sowery. He'll lock him up ever so slightly, and it'll force Toby Sowery onto the rumble strip. So Benjamin Pedersen will get a good run up the hill and through turn number 6. So now Benjamin Pedersen will move up into that 4th position, but he's not only checked out about a car length away from Toby Sowery. Again, they make their way down through turn number 7 and on their way to turn 8.
As that battle settles itself out, it is trying to get back into view of the front 3, but Pedersen has easily about 15 car lengths to make up before he gets into the 3rd place running Linus Lundquist. Sowery is not letting Pedersen get completely out of view. Right now, it's about 3 car lengths between the two of them. Maybe Pedersen might have gotten himself an extra car length or 2. Let's call it 5 through turn 11.
6 of 20 laps complete here at Road America. Kyle Kirkwood is your race leader by 1.6 seconds. That gap is important because if he can keep it by more than a second and a half, it will not allow Alex Peroni the little extra horsepower he has with the advantage of push to pass. Peroni runs in that second position, 3.2 seconds behind the leader is Linus Lundqvist. Then it's his teammate Benjamin Pedersen, and Toby Sowery runs in fifth. Let's go ahead and do a full field rundown as the drivers get set to start lap number 7. Stingray Robb runs in sixth. Robert McGinnis is seventh. Those two separated by just 6 car lengths. Probably the best battle on the racetrack as things have kind of, settled down up front. McGinnis just got around Stingray Robb, so moved the driver from New York up to the 6th position. Then it's Stingray Robb in 7th. Antonio Serravalle is 8th. Christian Bogle is 9th. Nikita Lashishkin is 10th. Joel Sebastianelli talked about David Malukas and his charge after that opening lap incident. He's now 2 seconds behind Lashishkin in 11th, so Malukas starting to charge his way back through the field. And then it's the 2 drivers who had great qualifying runs, were looking for their first career wins, who had disastrous opening laps. Devlin DeFrancesco, who runs in the 12th spot, he's been to pit lane with some damage. And then Daniel Frost, who is 1 lap down, our pole sitter right now in the 13th position. And Davey, as Kyle Kirkwood starts to check out a bit on Alex Peroni by 2 seconds. We've seen a lot of action so far in this race through 6 laps, and a lot of it's been right down there where Michael's at in turn number 5. What is it about that left-hander that year after year seems like that is Calamity Corner and where we see so much action and so much passing?
I really think what it is you have so much speed coming down this front straightaway. It starts all the way there, Nick, and then you go into turn 1 with a lot of speed. Turn 2, it still carries speed, or I should say turn 3, there's a little kink there. But as you go down that back straightaway and just gain so much of that, it's heavy braking and really narrow track down there in turn 5. And that over-under that we see, the guy goes on the outside, slows down a little bit more, cuts back underneath it. That's a really good corner because they slow down for it. Now, the difference is in Canada corner is you don't slow down that much. I mean, it's still a really fast corner, so that's what I think brings on the really good passing.
And as the drivers make their way back onto the front straightaway, we've seen plenty of passing there as well. Alex Peroni and that Carlin Racing machine just continues to lose. It looks like just a couple tenths a lap. It's now 2.1 seconds. So Kyle Kirkwood absolutely laying down a blistering pace. The good news for Peroni, who if he can stay in second will record his best career finish, is it looks like he has gapped himself from Linus Lundqvist by about 2.3 seconds. Then it's another 2 seconds back to Benjamin Pedersen, followed by Toby Sowery and Robert McGinnis as things continue to look like they're spreading out a little bit. But Michael, how impressed are you with Kyle Kirkwood, our race leader, and the pace he's laying down here on lap number 8?
I've been impressed with this young man, and it really, my eyes were wide open when we went to the streets of Belle Island in Detroit. He was so fantastic as he swept the weekend, and now has about a 15 car length advantage over Alex Peroni, then Linus Lundqvist, Benjamin Pedersen, Toby Sowery. The battle for 6 has kind of shaken itself out as we see Stingray Robb falling off the machine of Robert McGinnis. But Jake, this kid continues to press. As Rob Howden said at the top of the show, he's won at every rung of this ladder system all the way up, and easily could be on his way to win this championship if he can keep this up.
And the other thing to me that's impressive, and perhaps Davey can expand on this a little bit, but it seems to me that one of the things, and we certainly know of Kirkwood's talent and being able to move his way through the field, but also at the outset of that race to kind of know when not to go and let everything else kind of break loose and then set his pace, wait his turn, and now he finds himself running up front. To me, for a guy that's in the first year in the series, it shows an incredible maturation and part of the reason why he's extending that lead.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that he was watching what was going on in turn 1, going, okay, guys, you guys are getting a little too close. This is a little too risky, and really kind of backed up, got out of the way, lost some positions, fell back quite a ways, actually. I think in 5th or 6th position. That showed the maturity, the calmness, not wanting to, knowing that he's not going to win this race if he crashed on the first lap. So you're right. And then just slowly, methodically got up to those guys and had really good, strong passes. The downside is right now is he's checked out. We would like to see a little bit better race between Peroni to be able to use his push to pass to catch up a little bit, but we still have a long ways to go. It's halfway through the race right now. Tires are going to be a factor in this race, and right now we'll just see if Peroni can catch him.
I mean, Davey, the pace is just, Kirkwood right now is untouchable. That last lap, he ran a 157.1.
Yeah.
Peroni, who's just trying to keep pace, ran a 157.6, so that's a full half a second behind. And then you look further through the field, everybody else is in the 158s and 159s.
Yeah.
So Kyle Kirkwood, there's no slowing down right now.
No slowing down. Over a 2.5 second lead already. Continues to pull that, as you said, half a second a lap. But then Peroni's kind of doing the same. He's 4/10 faster than third place Lundqvist, and then Lundqvist, he's another 4/10 faster than Pedersen. So pretty spread out right now.
Did have a pass moments ago, David Malukas, we talked about it. That car still very, very fast despite the opening lap incident down in turn 1. He just picked up a spot moving around the Russian driver Nikita Lashiskin, so move Malukas back up into 10th. And of course, he's got his eyes on an Indy Lights Championship and scholarship, so every point that he can kind of salvage and do a little damage control today will help. Right now, Malukas is 17 points back in third position, and as Davey talked about earlier, with Kyle Kirkwood moving to the front, as of right now, he has taken over the points lead. We'll see if he can stay up there for another 11 laps and score another race win. It would be his 4th of the season and his 3rd straight. Let's go back to pit lane and check in once again with Rob Howden.
You know what, Nick? This is really interesting, seeing how the season's kind of developing for Kyle Kirkwood. It reminds me so much of 2019. He had some trouble at St. Petersburg. Our second round then was at the Indy IMS on the road course. Had some trouble there as well. Just didn't get off to a good start, but the minute he got rolling and started winning races, away he went and was able to get that championship. And as we know, tied right now for the most wins in Road to Indy history with Spencer Pigot at 24, looking to break that here this weekend. But this is so similar. We got to remember as well that Kyle Kirkwood did not drive an open wheel formula car at all in 2020. His competition did. Linus Lundqvist won the FRA championship. David Malukas was in that series as well. You've got guys like Daniel Frost and Devlin DeFrancesco that ran Indy Pro 2000. He was sports car racing for a number of the weekends without 2020. He's just getting back behind the wheel of this car again. It's exactly like 2019. And if they let Kyle Kirkwood get on a roll like we saw when he was winning the Indy Pro 2000 championship, the rest of this field could be in trouble.
Yeah, it's a scary thought because, as Rob pointed out, that young man from Jupiter, Florida, when he gets on a roll historically in the last couple years, he can flat wear a series out and score a lot of P1s and take home a lot of trophies. And right now, he just continues to build that lead. In fact, Davey, I've been watching Alex Peroni. That car was dirt tracking a bit at the bottom of turn number 5, and it's showing on the stopwatch. What was it, just moments ago, 2.8 seconds? Now it's 4.9 seconds, the advantage for Kirkwood over second place running Peroni.
Yeah, and continues to pull away from third place. So that tells you how good Kirkwood is over the second and third place drivers. And Pedersen's doing all. He's a good run for Pedersen, by the way. That's, a solid 4th place. Seems to have a strong race car right now, doing all he can to catch up to Lundqvist. Matter of fact, almost the same exact lap time last time by.
And tell you what, Kyle Kirkwood's lead 5.5 seconds. Linus Lundqvist runs in 3rd behind Alex Peroni, and as you mentioned, not making up a ton of ground right now. He's 1.5 seconds. Do have a bit of a battle shaping up right now for the 5th position. Again, it's Kirkwood, Peroni, Lundqvist, Pedersen, and Sowery. And then Sowery's having to do everything he can right now to hold off Robert McGinnis. Looks like David Malukas is starting to charge as well at the back of the pack. But let's focus in and hone in a bit on this battle. Best on the racetrack for 5th. Robert McGinnis looks to the inside. He's going to go wheel to wheel with Toby Sowery. He'll force him a little wide, and he has the horsepower to get around. He'll make that pass, and I think David Malukas might have just did a twofer. He just got to the inside and took care of Antonio Serravalle and Christian Bogle. So that's 2 more spots for David Malukas. They are nose to tail, though. Let's pick up that battle at the back of the pack. Michael, it's 8th, 9th, and 10th. David Malukas, Christian Bogle, and I believe that is Stingray Robb underneath the Sargento Bridge.
Yeah, Stingray Robb has lost touch with Toby Sowery and that Robert McGinnis battle that he had earlier. Now we have that battle working its way into turn number 5. Stingray Robb, Christian Bogle. They will make their way up the hill. Bogle tries the over-under, won't be able to complete it. But as we go back to the front of the field, I'll tell you, Jake, I think Linus Lundqvist is starting to catch second place running machine.
It's a very good eye. That is Peroni that worked his way into the carousel, and when he had to take that lefty of turn number 8, that allowed Lundqvist to get right on him. But Peroni was faster through 9 and 10. That got him that breathing room back. He has an 8 car length advantage right now over Linus Lundqvist.
Davey, I mean, all of a sudden, Alex Peroni's car looks like it's going away a little bit, or maybe Linus Lundqvist has found something. Regardless, good to see that battle for second may be heating up a little bit.
Yeah, we see some side-by-side action as the corner workers are seeing it all over. At least there's some good racing going on around the racetrack, and you're right. I think Peroni, he's losing a little bit of time, and
Davey, he's slowing.
Yeah, he's slowing down drastically. I mean, something wrong with that race car. Oh, what a shame, running second place. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it also took back off again, like a fuel problem or something.
Yeah, it's the driver from Australia through the last couple corners. He's still not up to speed. In fact, he's going to make that really tough right-hand turn to bring that car up the hill and slowly down to pit lane. Boy, what a frustrating result this is going to be for Alex Peroni. Looked like he was heading towards a second place finish. He only has one podium so far this year. It was going to be a career best, and now he'll slowly bring that blue and green car for Carlin Racing, Blundstone, Tasmania, RDM Fast Ferries, the sponsorship on that car from Hobart, Australia. Alex Peroni frustratingly going to see a podium finish wash away, and that essentially, Davey, is going to let Kyle Kirkwood, I would assume, cruise for these final 8 laps.
Yeah, it just seemed something sour in the engine when he went by on pit lane. Just didn't sound like it was missing a couple cylinders almost. I couldn't really tell as he was idling, but just didn't sound very good.
So Alex Peroni will tumble down through the standings right now. It looks like as of right now, he's running in the 11th position as everybody has gone by. And I'll tell you what, Rob Howden, the big beneficiary is one of our championship contenders, as he is scoring quite a few more points here over the last couple laps.
Yeah, what a couple of laps here for David Malukas, right? Tries for the lead in the opening corner, gets collected off the racetrack, storms back up, gets a couple extra drivers coming down the front straightaway, and then ends up getting a free one as well with Peroni heading into pit lane. Obviously, a good one for Malukas, but not so much for Alex Peroni, and we'll get a report here from Joel Sebastianelli.
Heartbreaking to see this. He just brought the 5 onto pit lane. Those times were falling off progressively. A 2-minute followed by a 2:01. He told the team that he lost 4th gear.
Ouch, ouch. That is not good for Alex Peroni as he sits on pit lane. He's now lost the 11th position to Devlin DeFrancesco and appears poised for a last place finish. Meanwhile, Kyle Kirkwood's advantage over second place running Linus Lundqvist is just about 9 seconds with 7 laps to go here at Road America. Lundqvist runs in second. Benjamin Pedersen is now all of a sudden cycled his way to third. He had a podium finish in the first race of the season, but this could be a really, really good result for the Global Racing Group. He runs in that third spot. Then it's Robert McGinnis in fourth. Toby Sowery is fifth. Antonio Serravalle has cycled his way up to the 6th position. He may have company shortly with David Malukas, who runs in 7th. Then it's Stingray Robb and Christian Bogle, who run in 8th and 9th. Those two cars were awful close as they make their way down the straightaway heading towards turn number 5. Michael, let's pick up that battle. Stingray Robb trying to hold off Christian Bogle.
Yeah, for Stingray Robb, he had a lot of track position lost when he was in that battle with Robert McGinnis. I'm not sure if something has gone wrong with that machine, but Stingray Robb, Christian Bogle now making their way through turn number 6 and now turn number 7. But Robb was doing extremely well in the early portion of this race, but much like all the other drivers that have lost ground, Jake, it's just something goes away on those cars in the latter portion.
And again, they have David Malukas just in front of them. It is Bogle with Stingray Robb just behind them. They are entering the carousel right now. The leaders have already gone their way through turn number 11. Also entering the carousel of note, Toby Sowery had gotten himself just a little bit loose. Serravalle was not able to close in on that gap. But that battle back there, again, pretty good right now. Bogle has himself about a 6 car length advantage over Robb.
Let's go back to pit lane with 7 laps to go and check in once again with Rob Howden.
Yeah, Nick, just a note, in looking at Carlin, I really expected them to start coming on midway through the season. Obviously, they haven't been in the Indy Lights program for a number of years. They've won here at Road America before with Matthias Lace, for example, and to see them start coming on right now, it just seems to me like this is the return of Carlin right now. We saw what Peroni was able to do. He had a 2nd or a 3rd place finish. Even if he was going to be battling with Linus, he had a chance for a podium. And then to see Christian Bogle, a driver who did 2 years of USF 2000, jump over former Indy Pro into Indy Lights. He's getting better. He's learning. And to have him battling right now with Juncos Racing and Stingray Robb, last year's Indy Pro 2000 champion, I think that really signals that Carlin back in the groove that we saw when they came to the series in 2015.
Yeah, it's awful impressive, honestly, to see some of these drivers who, as Rob talked about, maybe struggled through the first half of the season, all of a sudden putting together some good results. Again, Antonio Saravalli looks like he may be poised for a 6th or 7th place finish. That will be definitely his best finish of the year, no doubt about it. And as Rob talked about, the pace looks pretty good for Christian Bogle, so the competitiveness level of this Indy Lights series seems to be pretty strong. And Rob, while I've got you, let's talk a little bit about some of the Road to Indy action that we have already seen so far this weekend. Tell us a little bit about some of those drivers who have already taken home some hardware.
Well, Nick, you know what? I'm not going to tell you about that. I'm going to let the driver tell you about that. Kiko Porto actually standing with me right now for D-Force Racing. Good segue, Nick. Kiko Porto winning for the 2nd time this year in USF 2000 for D-Force. Kiko, you had an unbelievable battle with Michael D'Orlando. You guys were literally side by side from turn 5 through the carousel, through the kink back to Canada Corner. Really good respect back and forth. But man, talk a little bit about that race win. It's got to feel good to win here.
Yeah, what a race for me. Like, Michael was too fast behind me. I opened a gap, and then come the full course yellow, and then we start to fight. We passed like half a lap side by side. This was crazy, but I'm very happy. The car feels like perfect. The perfect weekend for me. Tomorrow we have one more race. I know how fast I can be with this car, so I only want to say thank you for my sponsorship, Banco da Coval, the D-Force Racing team, and I'm very happy with this winner.
You start from pole again tomorrow. I know all the fans down in Brazil will be very happy to see you try to win again, but here at Road America, midway through the season, if you can get a couple of victories, this is when you want to start building up that momentum, right? Starting to try to get to the end of the season, try to win this championship. Does it feel like you have momentum building?
Yeah, we passed a half of the season right now. I feel how better the cars feel during the races weekend. I'm very confident with how the team can be with the car. So next race we have the middle higher race, a really good race. I love this track. So I have New Jersey too. So I'm very happy to work with the guys. I feel like I have a really good car for all the season, so we need to keep pushing.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Kiko Porto, darn good job here today. The Brazilian doing well on the win, on the pole again for tomorrow. And then we'll send it back down to Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, just had an incident with Nikita Lashishkin, who got off track, hit one of the signs. Looks like he's dragging a bit of that part of the racetrack, or part of one of those signs on the racetrack, but we stay green. Let's hear from a very disappointed, I would assume, Joel Sebastianelli driving down with, it's Joel's not disappointed. Joel, I know you're always happy, but it's Alex Peroni, who I know has to be frustrated with this last place finish.
Absolutely. I think he was hoping to talk to us in a few laps. Was poised for a career best finish, but lost 4th gear. Was there any warning sign that this was going to be coming?
Not really. I mean, I did have a vibration in 4th, but, you know, it was a little strange, but I didn't expect it to kind of go downhill like that. And yeah, as you said, it was a good race for us, so it's a shame. But, you know, we can take some positives in tomorrow. Hopefully we can get it fixed. I'm pretty sure we can, and we'll go again tomorrow.
Well, that's important with the race tomorrow. You work your way up to 2nd. Is this a substantial setback, or is this something that you guys can take care of relatively quickly and have that pace that you showed today?
Yeah, in terms of tomorrow, we should be good. Hopefully, you know, as I said, I'm not exactly sure if the problem will affect tomorrow, but, you know, it's just hard for the championship, and, you know, we've had a hard couple of races, so that would have been nice to finish on the podium today, but it's motorsport.
It is. We appreciate your attitude. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thank you, Joel, and certainly a disappointing run for Alex Peroni, who, again, looked poised for a podium, but losing 4th gear. He will finish 13th today. Up front, though, Kyle Kirkwood on a nice Saturday cruise with the race lead, 9.9 seconds. Tell you what, Davey, I thought those two orange cars of Lundqvist and Pedersen, that battle was going to get pretty good, and Michael, did you say there's something on the racetrack down there near you?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a piece of signage, but it's just to driver's right as they dive in between the curbing and the middle portion of turn number 5. We had Benjamin Pedersen running over. We just saw the machine of Daniel Frost drive around it. Don't know if it's enough to bring out a caution, but boy, that would certainly make the latter portion of this race in these last couple laps very interesting.
Yeah, it's right there in the middle of the racetrack, and the good news, Davey, I mean, it left just enough of a groove to the inside where drivers were scooting around it, but plenty of racetrack to the outside as well.
Yeah, well, that's if the guys aren't racing through there. That's the best part of the racetrack to pass on. So if guys are going to be side by side and try the over-under pass there, that's going to be right in the way. But right now, if they're single file, you're right, Nick. They can go under it, they can go around it. It's not ideal, but right, I assure you that Kirkwood doesn't want to see the yellow come out, but then some of these guys like Malukas, he would probably love to.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's part of that banner that that Lastishkin hit and might have dragged it out on the racetrack. Regardless, though, we do stay green with just 3 laps to go. And Davey, as I was talking before, Michael pointed out that part of the that sign or whatever it is on the racetrack, that battle for second was looking pretty good. And it may, before it's all said and done, become a 3-car battle, because here comes Robert McGinnis kind of creeping into the mix there in 4th spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking really good. McGinnis, he's had an up and down day, obviously, but oh yeah, we see that sign of who ran over that. Lashkin, yeah, he did run over. He's the one that brought it out there. Then he comes around and runs over it again. So he's having a problem with that sign. Obviously dislikes it for some reason. But
Michael, let's take a peek at that battle for second, though, as it heads towards you. It's a 3-car battle.
Yeah, and Linus Lundqvist gets on the brakes extremely late, allows his teammate Benjamin Pedersen to close up. And Robert McGinnis all of a sudden has gotten extremely racy. I think Benjamin Pedersen was a nice cushion for his teammate Linus Lundqvist. But before long, I think Robert McGinnis, I know we only have a couple of laps left, but Jake, I think he might have a battle for third shaping up here.
He may not even know which one it is that he's dialing in on, because they look so identical. Lundqvist and then Pedersen. Again, they work their way now in through turn number 8. Those 3 are perfectly evenly spaced right now. Just as I say that, Pedersen got himself a little bit of room over McGinnis, so McGinnis might be losing sight of those 2 as they work their way now into turn number 11.
Kirkwood's lead is 9.8 seconds, but then it's Lundqvist by about a half a second over Pedersen. Pedersen by about a full second over a charging Robert McGinnis, who could really, really use a good finish in the worst way. I mean, Davey, Robert McGinnis had like a boat anchor out the back of that car at Detroit. Nice to see that young driver has shown some pace here at Road America.
Yeah, really good run. That from second, third, fourth, you're right. That's the best race on the track, and I think something could happen. Need some push to passes left for these guys. Excuse me. And then, but Sowery, how about Sowery? Right when we think that he led the race for a little bit, thought maybe that Junko's car had what it took. Boy, just a bad day for him. He's 18 seconds behind the leader right now.
Yeah, he's fallen and kind of settled into that 5th spot. He's only got about a second lead in on Antonio Saravalli, and David Malukas is catching them both. Up front, though, it is Kyle Kirkwood, and the battle for second between those 2 Global Racing Group drivers, Linus Lundqvist, our points leader, and Benjamin Pedersen, who runs in 3rd. And I'll tell you what, Pedersen's got a nice charge out of turn number 3. Michael Pedersen's going to look to the inside. Now he pops to the outside.
Benjamin Pedersen will complete the pass on his teammate. Now, let's not call that over yet. They go side by side through turn number 5, and now Benjamin Pedersen will complete the pass over his teammate Linus Lundqvist and Jake Query. That will allow Robert McGinnis to close in on the rear wing of Linus Lundqvist. So no team orders at Global Racing. We will move the machine of Benjamin Pedersen to P2.
And of course, Lundqvist knows that Kirkwood is all the way through the carousel. He's thinking points at this point and wants to make sure he secures that podium. But right now, he's got Robert McGinnis charging, as Nick had mentioned. McGinnis's car looks very good through the carousel between turns 9 and 10, trying to close in on Linus Lundqvist. Lundqvist does not, however, have any bobble, so McGinnis is going to have to wait another lap.
Davey, you've been a car owner at various levels of motorsports. Never a lot of fun to watch your 2 drivers in those identical cars go side by side in the closing laps of a race.
It's always fun when they're running like they are, second and third, but it's always nerve-wracking as well, knowing that they could get into each other, as we've seen happen many times before. But you're right, you're happy because you're second and third as a car owner regardless. You just don't want to get that messed up.
Up front, though, Kyle Kirkwood comes to the top of the hill. He will see the flagman wave the white flag. Kirkwood looking for his 3rd straight win. and his 4th of the season. As they run right now, he looks poised to take over the points lead. He's got a 10-second lead over Benjamin Pedersen. Then it's Linus Lundqvist, and Robert McGinnis is really charging, looking for that 3rd position. But up front, it's Kyle Kirkwood. He makes the bend, the right-hander of turn number 3, and back down that straightaway that leads all the way down to the bottom of the hill. Michael Young. Here comes Kyle Kirkwood for the final time.
Kyle Kirkwood swept the weekend at Belle Isle, looking for his 4th win of this 2021 campaign. Already has the broom out of the closet, getting ready to attempt to sweep this weekend here at Road America. But further back, here's the battle for 3rd. It's Linus Lundqvist, and we will see Robert McGinnis pop to the inside of Lundqvist. Lundqvist locks him up. He'll try the over-under and try to get back around McGinnis. Now he'll pop to the outside. Robert McGinnis will hold that 3rd position as they make their way through turn number 6 and now through turn number 7. Move Robert McGinnis to that 3rd position, but Linus Lundqvist not going to get the position up yet. They're coming to you, Jake Query.
As they work their way now into turn number 8, what's interesting is McGinnis got held up just a little bit by Pedersen. That allowed Lundqvist to now try to make a move and get back that last podium spot. But the leader is Kyle Kirkwood. All of this happening behind him. It has not settled itself out. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th through the carousel, but Kyle Kirkwood has worked his way now in through turn number 12.
Robert McGinnis running in 3rd gets a strong charge through the kink, and it looks like he will open up about an 8-car length advantage over Linus Lundqvist for that 3rd spot. Up front, though, Kyle Kirkwood has that car planted right in the middle of the racetrack. He'll stay off the red and yellow curbing to the inside. He'll use it to the outside of turn number 14, and he will crest the hill. After sweeping the weekend in Detroit, Kyle Kirkwood wins his 3rd straight race and his 4th of the season, and with the victory here at Road America, he will take over the Indy Lights points lead. Kyle Kirkwood, your big winner today here on this Saturday. He wins round number 9 of the Indy Lights Championship presented by Cooper Tires as he charges from the 4th starting position to win today. Benjamin Pedersen is going to come home in the 2nd spot. Robert McGinnis will finish 3rd. That's the first podium of the year for McGinnis. Linus Lundqvist is going to have to settle for 4th. Toby Sowery looks like he'll finish in 5th, and we'll give you the final rundown momentarily when all these drivers finish up their final lap on this massive 4-mile road course. But Davey, what a perfect run by Kyle Kirkwood today.
Wow, is this kid on a roll or what? As we just mentioned, won both races in Detroit, then comes here and wins the next one. And I tell you, he looks poised that he could do it again tomorrow. Although not starting in the pole, there's some fast guys that started in front of him today. Just had some problems getting down through turn 1 and left him a great opportunity. But yeah, well, this kid is just outstanding. And you know, I seen I don't know if right now I seen Michael Andretti, obviously happy, but longtime co-owner and car owner Gary Peterson down there with the Michael Andretti crew.
Yeah, and how about the other Andretti Autosport driver who had a good day, Robert McGinnis? That was a heck of a charge, Davey. I mean, you want to talk about full send. He sent it down there in turn 5 on the final lap trying to get around Lundqvist.
I really questioned if he was going to make the corner because he drove it in so deep, but no smoke came off his tires. Did a great turn in, had to keep it low, but defended himself up through turn 5. Good path. Hungary puts him on the podium, puts Lundqvist out of, now Lundqvist in that points championship falls to 8 points back when earlier on he had a 10-point lead, by the way, but just falling from 1st back to where he's finished in 4th, and now he's 8 points back.
So here's a look at the results, the final results, as all 11 drivers have crossed the start-finish line or have brought their cars back to pit lane. It is Kyle Kirkwood, the race winner, his 4th race win of the season. That leads all drivers. In fact, through 9 races, we've only had 3 drivers win races in Indy Lights. Kirkwood now with 4, David Malukas with 3, and Linus Lundqvist with 2. Benjamin Pedersen gets matches his career best with a 2nd place finish. He did that at Barber Motorsports Park to start the season. Robert McGinnis, it's the best finish of his season by far, as he'll stand on the 3rd step of the podium. McGinnis comes home in third. Linus Lundqvist, as Davey talked about, lost some points and a couple spots in the closing laps. Lundqvist, the Swedish driver, will come home in fourth. Toby Sowery finishes fifth today. Antonio Serravalle, a career best sixth place today for that single car entry, one of the rookies in the field. David Malukas charges after that opening lap incident from the back of the field. He'll get to seventh. Right now, 14 points behind Kyle Kirkwood in the championship. Stingray Robb comes home in the eighth spot. Christian Bogle finishes ninth. Devlin DeFrancesco with a damaged race car. He comes home in the 10th spot. Daniel Frost, our pole sitter, disastrous opening lap for him. He'll finish 11th, one lap down. And then two drivers out of the race, Nikita Lashishkin, who did a little lawnscaping there at the end of the race. He finishes 12th, and Alex Peroni looked poised for a podium. Some engine problems relegate him to a 13th place finish. And we see, Davey, a victorious Kyle Kirkwood there in victory lane here at Road America. It's a long way to get all the way back here, but I know he's going to be a happy, happy boy.
Yeah, he's familiar with that. Well, talk about confidence, right? As a racing driver, when you win a race, you get confidence, and you win a second one. Then you went, the two in a row at Detroit. Now this kid has confidence not only himself but this team, and he knows that he's kind of the guy to beat right now.
All right, David, we'll let you get out of here before we hear from some of these drivers. Again, NTT IndyCar Series Racing, we're going to get after it tomorrow. And a pair of talented Americans, Colton Herta, Joseph Newgarden, they're no stranger to the Indy Lights Series. Can't wait to watch those guys go racing tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. See you in the IndyCar race.
All right, so Kyle Kirkwood going to pop out of that race car for Andretti Autosport and celebrate his fourth win of the season, and again takes over the points lead. These drivers will go racing in the Indy Lights Series again tomorrow with race number 2 at 9:40 Eastern Time, 8:40 Central Time. Let's hear from some of those competitors. A career best matching second place finish for Benjamin Pedersen. He's standing by with Rob Howden.
Benjamin, that was a race we wanted to see out of you, right? You were waiting for that one. What a tremendous run. Good battle with your teammate Linus Lundqvist as well. Second place. Give me your thoughts right now.
Oh my God, I'm still shaking kind of. It didn't really hit me until we crossed checkered flag. The car was just absolutely amazing. Managed the gaps, the push to pass, everything really well. I just can't thank the team enough for a fantastic car. I'm still a bit speechless, but definitely gonna let it sink in.
Let's talk about that pass on Linus Lundqvist. He's obviously been strong. He and David Malukas, you're the top driver from HMD Motorsports with Global Racing Group in this event. That pass on him in turn number 5, it had to be perfect, right? It's your teammate.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of respect for Linus too. He could have easily just punted me off, but hats off to him for keeping it clean. I really appreciate it. It was a little tricky because there was debris down at the apex, so, oh my God. Yeah, it's just trying to absorb it.
Does this take a bit of pressure off? Does it give you a bit of confidence moving forward? Obviously, you're looking for that first big result.
I've just been working so hard the whole year, and we started strong with a podium at Barber, and we just kept working hard. We didn't have like the best results, but just kept working super hard, and it just feels really relieving now. And we're just gonna keep working hard, see where it takes us.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Benjamin Pedersen, guys, P2.
Benjamin Pedersen comes home with a second place finish. Let's go to Joel Sebastianelli in victory lane.
Kyle Kirkwood getting hugs and handshakes all around. Number 25, the winningest driver on the road to Indy, passing Spencer Pigot. Congratulations. What does that record mean to you?
Oh my gosh, yeah, having 25 wins now is absolutely incredible. I got to give it off to the guys back at Andretti. I mean, we've just been on rails for the past 3 races, and fortunately we didn't get caught out in that start right now, or in that race, but hopefully we keep this trend. We got 3 wins now in a row, and the most wins out of all the the Indy Lights Race drivers, and no, hopefully we keep this trend.
Well, I think sometimes in sports we throw the word momentum around so much it's almost meaningless. But do you feel like you have momentum, like it's a real thing for this team?
It's kind of how all my road to Indy races have gone. I start off a little bit slow, and then as we get some wins, we get some momentum, and from the past we've been pretty untouchable. So hopefully that stays the same as it's been in the past years.
25 is a big number this week, and I have another one for you at this track. 5 for 5. You've never lost here at Road America. First place in every race. What is it about you in this track?
I'm not sure, to be honest. We typically don't do that well in qualifying, but here, during the races, everything tends to work out. I end up in the right position at the right time, and it always works out in the end.
It's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. Finishing first again today, Kyle Kirkwood for the 25th time on the road to Indy. Congratulations.
All right, let's hear from his teammate, Robert McGinnis, with a third-place finish, Rob Howden.
Yeah, Nick, off air here, Robert McGinnis said it's about time, man. You wanted a good result, and you got one. The car was obviously fantastic, but you were a bull at the end there trying to come forward, able to get to the podium. Give me your thoughts on P3.
That's awesome. I mean, I didn't really know where I was at, to be honest. I was just passing cars left and right, and Andretti Autosport gave me a great car. I mean, I can't thank them enough for this, and it's just so awesome. I feel like we're finding our stride again, and it's great to rebound after Detroit, which was so rough. So I feel great, and I'm excited to start even further up tomorrow. Maybe we can actually get a second or a first.
That's exactly what you're looking for. We talked a bit about the start of the show about tire degradation. It seems like you guys, your car especially, was able to get almost better near the end of the race. Is that kind of how you felt?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think our cars are awesome, and they save tires well, but we saved new sets for both races, and I think that's game-changing here. So I'm excited for tomorrow.
Personally and mentally, what's this do for you, getting back on the podium? You've won before the road to Indy in Indy Lights. What does it mean to get this third today?
It's awesome. I mean, I just want to build on this. Let's get some momentum back. Let's keep going. Let's get some wins. Let's, finish off this year strong. It's been rough to start with, but I know we can just go and win a hell of a lot of races and have a great time doing it.
Nicely done.
Thanks, Rob.
Robert McGinnis, Nick, P3 here today, and he said he's back. Andretti's back. This kid looking really good here at Road America.
Yep, a great drive by Robert McGinnis. Your podium again today. Kyle Kirkwood, Benjamin Pedersen, Robert McGinnis with the win. Kirkwood takes the points lead by 8 points over Linus Lundqvist and 14 over David Malukas. Well, we're not quite done on this busy Saturday here on IndyCar Radio. About a half hour from now, Mark Janes and Davey Hamilton will be back with you for the final IndyCar practice session from 5:30 to 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 4:30, 5 o'clock Central Time if you're listening there at Road America. For the entire crew, a big thank you from me to you. My name's Nick Yeoman. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires on the IndyCar Radio Network.
National Park of Speed, Road America. Beautiful Cliff Tufty weather today. Still sunny skies. We've got another IndyCar final practice yet this afternoon coming up at 4:30. Radical Cup coming up this afternoon as well at 5:20 this afternoon. So plenty of action yet to continue. We'll have our celebration with the podium with Rob Howden for Indy Lights in the Grand Prix of Road America, powered by AER, coming up in just a few moments. I know they're getting set up for podium celebration, so we'll join Rob as soon as he is ready. But Greg, what a great Indy Lights competition today. Obviously, it's one of those things where we saw a lot of side-by-side battles, a lot of really good textbook passes into 5 and 6 as well. But we're gonna do that. We'll talk about that more later. But Rob Howden down at Victory Lane.
Thank you so much, Eric. Indeed, we are down here to present some awards after the Indy Lights Grand Prix of Road America, powered by AER. What a battle it was all the way through the field. We had some great racing. Let's bring out the three drivers. We've already had a chance to interview them, but let's get the hardware delivery happening. Folks, tremendous run. His best result of 2021 for Andretti Autosport. Third place today, Robert McGinnis. Finishing in second spot, his best result of the year as well for HMD Motorsports with Global Racing Group. P2, Benjamin Pedersen. 3 wins in a row for this driver here. He'll take over the point lead. He is now 5 for 5, has not been beaten in Road to Indy action here at Road America. Also now the new all-time win leader in the Road to Indy with 25 victories over the 3 series. The winner today for Andretti Autosport, Kyle Kirkwood. I say this every time we're at the Indy Lights podium here at Tatis Victory Lane, ladies and gentlemen. This is the future of the NTT IndyCar Series. This is where Rinus VeeKay and Oliver Askew and Pato Ward and Colton Herta, Jack Harvey, Rinus VeeKay, this is where these guys were just a couple of years ago. And we're going to see them in the NTT IndyCar Series next year, the year afterwards. This is the future. These are the stars you're going to be watching in IndyCar for the next decade. They learned and their racecraft got better and better, developed here on the road to Indy. We're proud of them. We're proud of all our drivers who have gone to the NTT IndyCar Series. But, man, What a race that was for Indy Lights. Kyle Kirkwood getting forward after the incident in turn 1. He pulled away, but some of the battles further back. Obviously, Pedersen able to get by his teammate Lundqvist. We saw a massive charge by Robert McGinnis coming forward there and able to make some big moves late to get himself onto the podium as well. And he's going to start further up the grid tomorrow. Could be a win for McGinnis tomorrow. We'll see. Everybody chasing the second victory here, the doubleheader at Road America. Got some of our guests from the Kids on Track program here with us this weekend as well. Get a chance to come out to the racetrack, get a feel for what it's like being at a big-time motor racing event, and they're having a great time. Talked to a few of those back at our hospitality area. They're having a ton of fun. 3 races in the book for the Road to Indy here today, and we have 3 more tomorrow. We get things underway with USF 2000 tomorrow morning. Champagne already going. Remember, Detroit, they were in the water. No fountain here, but the champagne is enough. They wrap things up one more time. Everybody down here, Victory Lane, a round of applause for our top 3 in Indy Lights: Kyle Kirkwood, Benjamin Pedersen, and Robert McGinnis.
All right, thanks very much, Rob. Wow, what an amazing drive.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin, and Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
Welcome back, race fans, to the post-show on Road to Indy TV Live. I'm your host, Parker Thompson, here with Race 1 winner, Kyle Kirkwood. Kyle, was that just as easy as it looked?
I mean, it felt pretty easy.
Yeah,
after the first, what was it, 8 laps or so, I mean, it was hairy at the start. I mean, it started off really scary, if you will, with everyone touching and banging. I actually got hit by my teammate on the start. I thought maybe we had front wing damage, but we didn't, fortunately. And then I just had to be calculated on how I made my passes done, got my passes done, got by Stingray. I'm not sure who did Peroni get by me?
No, I don't think so.
No, Peroni. Sorry, it's just such a mess at the start. And then Linus, I was just trying to sit behind him, figure out what they were doing, how they were, or where they were fast, maybe where we were faster than them. And Peroni was just attacking. So I was like, you know what, we got to go. So I pushed a pass on the front straight, pushed a pass on the back straight, then got by him and was able to defend going into turn 5. And then from there, I think we just kind of checked out. As soon as we broke the draft or the 1.5 second, I think we're pretty much gone. Our cars are exceptional here.
Yeah, last time I checked, you were leading by over 10 seconds, and that's when I kind of tuned out because I'm like, okay, well, he's got the win. But something cool to note, Kyle and I had a conversation yesterday. I brought it up in the pre-race show. He literally told me, and I'm going to come to you all the time now because he's like, no, here's the deal. I only did one set of tires. Peroni only did one set of tires. You pretty well called your shot on 1, 2, 3 for most of the race as to who was going to be good for tires in race 1 and who wasn't. And that played out. So is tire deg that big of a deal, obviously?
Well, it wasn't. So it didn't play into that big of a deal for that race because tomorrow we're going to have new set tires. So Peroni and myself and McGinnis are all going to have new tires for tomorrow's race, not for today's race. Everyone had new tires today. So it's not going to be that big of a deal in this race, but tire deg is huge. I mean, we were running 56s, and then next thing you know, we're running high 57s, low 58s. Yeah. Even into the 59s, which was fast for us, and we were the fastest car out there. So we were actually pulling away and running 3 seconds off of what it was close to 4 to 5 seconds off what we were doing in qualifying.
Wow.
Earlier this morning.
It is pretty unbelievable.
So,
for those at home, I mean, usually deg at a track. Am I outspeaking when I say a second?
Yeah, if that. Usually in Indy Lights racing, it's negative deg, if you will. So you're constantly getting faster as the fuel burns off because we have over 100 pounds of fuel in the car when we start. And then as you burn that off, obviously the car is 100 pounds lighter, therefore you're going to go faster. Here's just not the case. We've got a lower profile tire, which tends to fall off a lot. The Cooper tire is still a very good tire, but when you do this low car or smaller carcass tire, they tend to have more deg.
So one thing he's touching on for select races on the Road to Indy, high deg tracks, they get a new tire. So that's what he's talking about. It's a different tire that they have here for Road America, which is promoting that type of deg, which you don't normally see on the calendar. Kyle, I know you're a busy man. I know you've got a lot of other media stuff to get to, so I will let you go. But I do want to end. This is, you've probably heard it a couple times. You know this. 25th win on the Road to Indy, which is now not tied. It is outright the lead for the most. I'll let you speak on that. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we've done it in only 2.5. It's almost 2.5 championship years at this time because we're 9 races in. So there's still more races to even extend that potentially, but we've had some good seasons over the past couple of years. 2018, 2019, the hiatus. Obviously, we didn't do any racing, but now with 4 wins this year, it's pretty incredible. I mean, I give it all to the teams, to be honest, because Capes have been always super strong in USF racing. RP, we got the car in such a good window. After a few races, even at Indy GP, we should have won a couple races there. So we should actually have more. But we've done exceptional, and now that we've got some momentum in the Indy Lights stuff, I think we're going to have some more.
Well, and I'm proud to have prevented a few of those because if it wasn't for
that is very true. St. Pete, we had a good car, and I just couldn't get by you. There's no way.
But it is cool, and you know what? It takes more than just a driver. But the work you've done in the off season to put yourself in the right spots is pretty incredible too. Yep. I know it's not just you; it's a team, but. I think you can go to bed tonight resting easy. It's pretty cool. You've taken the all-time lead. That's race fans, do not go away. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Time or 8 a.m. Central Time, we're going to be back with USF 2000 Race 2. And then we've got Indy Pro Race 2 and Indy Lights Race 2 coming up right after that. So don't tune away. Tune back in to Road to Indy TV Live tomorrow morning.